With over 350,000 subscribers, the YouTube duo We Fancy is best known for their convenience store gourmet food challenge and their Korean food review videos.
Hey everybody, I'm Xander.
And I'm Happy.
And we are
We Fancy.
And we've been making YouTube in Korea since 2013.
And we've been invited today to teach you how to be K-influencers specialized in K-food.
Today we're going to be teaching you the pros and cons of doing YouTube as a team.
Why food content is a great choice.
Tips and tricks about how to shoot food content.
Food content formats.
Big mistakes to avoid.
How to negotiate with sponsors.
Advantages of starting with high production quality.
Alternative revenue streams.
How to grow your channel through collaborations. If you're thinking about doing YouTube, you might not want to be doing it alone. You may have a bunch of friends who are interested in doing it together. You may have a duo like us. But there's definitely some things you need to think about before you commit.
One of the biggest advantages to not going it alone is that you share your workload. Someone can be a cameraman, someone can be an editor, or you can split the editing.
However, those advantages come with one big disadvantage, which is you have to split all your revenue amongst your team. Now, you might not do it equally, or you might do it completely equally. But after you actually start making money on YouTube, which can be quite far down the road, you will then have to split that tiny amount of money that you've been making amongst lots of people, and it might not be worth it. So we're talking sponsorships, we're talking obviously ad revenue. If you're invited to go to an event and they're giving you an appearance fee, they will only pay for you as a team, as one person, where a solo creator will get all of that money all to themselves.
On the flip side, that means all your financial responsibilities are also split. So if you have to pay for any production costs, that's split. Equipment, that should be split. Of course, every team is different. That's on you guys to decide.
So depending on you, it may make sense for you to work with a bunch of friends on a YouTube channel, or if you want to go out alone and try and make the big money, maybe you want to go solo.
Another thing you have to think about is creative differences. Not only that, motivational differences. We've all been through school, team projects, not everybody works the same. Also, popularity differences. Do you and your friends have the egos to be able to take that into consideration? What if one person has way more popularity than all the others? What are you going to do then?
And what if that person decides to split off from the team further down the road when they get more popular? What's going to happen? You need to think about all these things. When picking what kind of content you're going to make for YouTube, food is an amazing genre. You can see food content made in loads of different styles, whether it's cooking videos, people just eating, like mukbangs and things like that. You can have reviews for restaurants as well.
Another reason to do food videos is if you're doing videos for travelers, it's one of the main reasons people travel.
Everybody's got to eat every day, so if you're going to spend money on food anyway, why not film that and put it on YouTube?
And make some money.
So for our situation, because when people come to Korea, they want to know what kind of food they want to eat, they want to know what's in the food, because some of these names, because it's all in Korean, you're not going to know what's inside. So making videos about food in Korea and knowing maybe what ingredients you want to take out if you have any allergies or anything like that is super helpful for our subscribers. And also knowing which restaurants to go to too, because not all restaurants are equal and some of them make food way better than others. I love the comments we get of, I went to that restaurant you recommended, it was amazing. And these comments we actually share with the owners of the restaurants if we have a close connection with them.
Piggybacking on that point, that also makes it so that when you grow bigger, you can get free food. Because you can contact restaurants and be like, yo, I make these videos, look at how many views I get. Do you want me to review a restaurant? And a lot of them will kind of automatically assume that they should probably give you the food for free. Some might even pay you. There are many, many ways to shoot food videos. We don't really do mukbangs. Our specialty is making super high production quality, almost TV broadcast level food reviews.
So if you want to make content like we do about food, there are some things you need to know. Number one, you don't just go and eat the food. Oh no, you have to put some thought into it. Every time you see a close-up of Happy putting some food in his mouth, and he was just talking about the food, we've had to stop, move the camera, maybe change the settings to slow motion, then he can eat the food. Then he stops again, I come back, put the camera settings back to normal motion, and then I say, go, and then he continues eating. There's a lot of pausing, there's a lot of breaks in our shooting schedule, and sometimes by the time we finished, the food's cold, because sometimes it takes that long to film.
Also, don't forget to take the food shots before you touch your food, because then you don't have a nice footage of nice looking food.
You can uneat the food, which is the main point. But you could consider buying 2 of the same dish if you wanted to get some pretty food shots of something after eating it, or if you hadn't got the food shots done. Another big thing to think about is the lighting. In restaurants, it can be very dark. So try and sit next to big windows where the food's going to look the prettiest. My recommendation would be to look at other food reviewers, like pictures on blogs. See how the lighting is falling on the food. Where is the main lighting coming from?
Also, slow motion is your friend. Slow motion when you're eating, slow motion when you're shooting the food, just moving your camera, like orbiting the food, right? Because slow motion tends to be stabler.
And slow motion makes the food look more epic. You get that slow motion steam coming off. If something's cooking on like a grill or a hot plate, you can either see the sizzling of the bubbles there, or you can see the fire moving slowly. It makes everything look cooler. So our recommendation would be, you're gonna make sure that you have equipment with some slow motion capabilities.
Also, speaking of equipment, you're going to want fast lenses because you want that separation between things in focus and the background being blurry. That's how you make that food pop.
Another piece of advice is do your research. Find out what ingredients are in the food so you can talk about it while you're eating. And also, watch other food reviewers, especially ones with very eloquent vocabulary, because you're going to want to describe the food, which is another thing to learn, is how to differentiate tastes in your mouth. I'm not very good at that. Maybe because of how I look. He's really good at describing and going like, is it truffle oil in this? For me, I don't know sometimes. So maybe try and study and learn how to talk about food and talk about palate.
Another big thing is do not be shy. Talk to the restaurant owners, even if you've just walked in. Ask for permission to go into the back and shoot the cooking, because most YouTubers don't get that access. So it'd be really cool for viewers to see the actual food be cooked. Another thing about not being shy, you can't be shy when you're shooting your food videos at a restaurant. You can't be really quiet and whisper. You kind of just have to be okay with maybe disturbing people. If you don't want to do that, ask for special seating. Either sit in the corner or in a secluded area or a room. And the third part of not being shy is extra enthusiasm. If a food is good, it's not just good. It's amazing. It's fantastic. You gotta make faces. You gotta make sounds. People like to see you enjoy your food. People like to hear you enjoy your food.
So thinking about the content we've made about food, we've done a multitude of different kind of styles, I guess. We have some kind of convenience store content. We have street food content. We've obviously got restaurant reviews. We don't really do mukbangs. That's not really our kind of thing. So in terms of going outside and filming these things, usually we're trying to show people who haven't been to Korea what it's like, what kind of food is there. That's a massive interest for lots of people. If you look at any other food blogger or blogger in other countries, you'll see them do convenience store tours, just cooking in convenience stores, especially like Japan and Taiwan. Loads of people like to see the kind of food that you can get while you're traveling.
Another easy type of food content we've done are food challenges. So things like eating a lot or eating spicy food. These things are, very inherent. They've existed way before YouTube existed. So we just took what people naturally like, what people naturally want to see, and then we just did them for Korea.
I think the most original kind of content that we came up with was the convenience store challenge, where it was basically just, let's see if we can make a 3-course meal by only buying things in convenience stores and only being able to cook with the methods that you can find in a convenience store. And that was our most viral video and our most viewed video on our channel so far. And we've done a few more. After that, we added in some celebrity guests on to help us with some little Christmas specials. But the reason I think that content did so well is because just showing people what it's like living in Korea, what you can get. And I guess it kind of just feeds people's curiosity in that way.
But I do think that the reason we were able to do this is because we're in a very unique situation of being in a country where the convenience store allows us to do this. We have traveled to many different places. Surprisingly, a lot of convenience stores don't have seating areas for you to sit at and to cook yourself. For example, I believe there's a lot of the 7-Elevens in Japan, the microwaves are behind the counter. The staff have to cook it for you. In Hong Kong, there's no seating areas in convenience stores.
And in Thailand, they have signs saying don't film in here as well. So you can't do it in every country. You couldn't do it in England, for example. We don't really have convenience stores in that way.
But in Korea, and I believe also in Japan, there's so much variety in the food that you can get that you can mix and match and actually cook from scratch, which is where we even came up with the Korean Convenience Store Gourmet Food Challenge.
So in terms of the format of how we shoot these, because we're a duo, obviously, one person's usually on camera, so we'll do some little quick introduction of the food, throw in some B-roll shots of the food on top of that while we're talking about and describing it. Then we'll have the food item in front of us, and then we'll eat it, and then we'll give our opinion on the food. That's pretty much how all of our videos go. It's not like rocket science or anything, but just make sure you're getting that B-roll, those shots of the food, because mainly People want to see the food. You'll learn this eventually. People probably don't really care about you that much. They want to see the food. But by doing all these really good food content videos, eventually your audience will learn to love you as well.
Obviously, because we're a duo, we can do it the way we do it. If you're just alone, shoot it like any vlogger shoots a vlog. Food costs the dinero, so how do you make sure you don't waste the money? You gotta make videos that people want to watch. Quick example, We Fancy is working together with VISIT SEOUL TV on a series called 29.99 Seoul where we cook Korean food. One of the ways we do research is figure out what is popular at the time, what is trending at the time. Taking inspiration from a very big food YouTuber, Binging with Babish, where he tries to make recipes from TV shows and movies, we took inspiration from the Oscar-winning Korean movie Parasite and decided to make the food that was featured in it, namdon, or japaguri.
One of the good things about Korea is it's very trend-centric, so you'll have dramas that feature a certain food or a product. Sometimes it's product placement, and then that product will become super, super popular, and people who love K-dramas, and a lot of people who do love K-dramas don't live in Korea, and they watch YouTube content, they want to see what a normal person thinks of that food, whether it be banana milk or honey butter chips, things like that. People are very interested because usually they can't get hold of those products. So where do they turn to? YouTube. When you're making videos about trending food, you have to be very quick. Make your video as quickly as possible to make sure you get all those views while people are still interested.
Not only should you figure out what is popular based on trends, but also what's popular based on the existing content. For example, BuzzFeed has a very good Worth It segment where they compare cheap food versus expensive food. That's something everybody can do. Obviously, your expensive range is going to be very different from BuzzFeed. You might not be able to afford a $250 steak. But the range doesn't have to be that big. It can be something very cheap to something maybe $50.
Things like those kind of comparison videos, whether it would be money or different brands, are always kind of things that people are interested in. It kind of falls back to making content which satisfies people's curiosity.
Another natural comparison that comes up because we're in Korea is to compare food from our home countries with their Korean versions. There might be region-specific flavors of snacks.
Especially in fast food like McDonald's, KFC, they all offer different menu items for each country. So you could make a whole content series based on just eating different fast food items in different countries. Sound is also very, very important. People want to hear the food too. So make sure you get separate recordings of just the food cooking or bubbling. And make sure if you're talking that the mic is close to you. If you're in a very loud restaurant, the closer you can get the mic to you, the better you will sound. So you could wear a lav mic, or you could use a directional shotgun microphone on top of your camera, but try and extend it a little bit towards you. Any distance that you can get closer to you will make a world of difference.
One way you can do the extension is by an articulating arm. Attach that to the top of your camera, then attach your shotgun mic to the end, and extend it as close to you as possible. Another thing about sound, if it is at all possible, ask the restaurant if they can turn off the music. If they say no, beg a little, maybe ask them to turn it down. Remember, all they can do to you is say no.
The reason why you'd want to turn music down is not just because of sound reasons, but because of copyright. If you have a copyrighted song playing in the background while you're trying to talk about some delicious burger, there is the chance that you will be copyright striked for it, losing all of that ad revenue.
So how does We Fancy decide where to go? Well, the number one consideration is it popular? Why go to a restaurant if we're not going to get any views on it?
Number two will probably be permission, because if we can't even shoot in the restaurant, we can't go to that one anyway, so we'll have to find an alternative one. There's two sides to this coin. You can either try and film it and get stopped halfway, or you can ask permission, where they could say no, so you can't film there at all, or they could say yes.
This is a risk you'll have to manage. Some places might not stop you in the middle of shooting. But the worst thing that could happen is in the middle of your shoot, they come by and tell you to stop, because then you've wasted your time, your money, and your effort.
So hopefully by following those tips, you should be able to make some amazing food content. Let's be serious for a few minutes. We've been doing YouTube for like 6 years, and we've made mistakes along the way, and we want to tell you those mistakes so you don't make them yourself. We didn't think these things would affect us as much as they have done, otherwise we wouldn't intentionally make mistakes, right? But based on our experience, here's things that you should try and avoid. Don't rebrand. Don't change your name, because it will confuse people. We were on a massive upswing in subscribers and things like that, and we went from our name, which was Pyeongchang Happy, to We Fancy. Now, straight away, we noticed comments going, who are these guys? Why am I subscribed to this channel? For some reason, even though they were subscribed to us, they didn't recognize our faces in the videos, which is very, very, very odd.
Thumbnail.
Or the thumbnail. Think very long and hard about your YouTube name at the start because changing it later may have some detrimental effects.
The only exception is if you're going from a YouTube name to your real name. And you should only do that once you become so famous, like 500,000 plus, that your real name now carries recognition of its own. Tagging along the not changing anything, don't shift your content too drastically. We're not all PewDiePie. As you might have figured out, our channel is about Korea. We're K-influencers. We are not vloggers. We didn't build our channel on us as characters or us as personalities. We have a theme. When we first started, we started as a K-pop music video reaction channel. We moved from there and expanded to Korean in general. That's not that big of a change because you're going from Korean music video reactions to Korea. We then made the mistake of thinking, hey, why don't we just try to go super global and get everybody in the world? So we traveled to Thailand and we traveled to Hong Kong. When we finally released those videos, we had a month worth of Thai content and a month worth of Hong Kong content. This was a mistake. A lot of our subscribers were like, did you leave Korea? Are you not living there anymore? Oh, I only subscribe for your Korean content.
So from that point, we realized that we had to be very careful about what kind of content we were making. We thought that the majority of the people who are watching our channel would be very interested to see similar types of content, but made in Thailand or made in Hong Kong. We had future plans to go to Japan and many, many other countries around the world to do similar things, like convenience store challenges, trying fast food. It was mainly all food content at that time. But we realized some people are only subscribed for one certain topic, and for us, it was Korea.
Another point that every YouTuber has talked about so far on the series, and that you really need to know, is consistency. Consistency in your content type, obviously from the point before, but consistency in upload rate. If you think you only have enough time to make one video a month, make one video a month. Make that video really good. If you do it once every 2 weeks, do it once every 2 weeks. But you have to upload the same frequency at the same rate forever. Once you stray away from that, YouTube will penalize you for it because your subscribers or your viewers will come back and check your channel and then they'll be like, where's the video? Then they might not watch your next video because they miss it. And YouTube will think they're no longer interested in your channel, which is where subscriber burn comes in.
Taking really long breaks is really bad on YouTube. I know some people say it's good for your mental health, like, oh, just take a long break off YouTube. You can't. People will move on very quickly. Like, even a few days on the internet is like an eternity. You have to keep uploading content all the time. People become reliant on schedules like that. And if you don't upload, they're gonna forget about you and move on to someone else. On the flip side, if you upload too much, you can wear out that kind of subscriber trust as well because people are like, why are there so many videos? They can't keep up. You've really got to manage and pick something which works for you and for your audience. We have made so many mistakes, and we're also currently making a big mistake because right now we haven't uploaded for a while. In December, we tried to upload a video every day. It's something called Vlogmas. You make a video every day of December or every day up until Christmas. For us, we noticed the first videos did really well, but after like a few days, the views started dropping and dropping and dropping. People weren't watching as much, even though it was the most amount of content we'd uploaded in a really long time.
If you ask the average successful YouTuber, once a week is very safe. It's not too much content for anybody, and it's frequent enough that people aren't waiting too long for you. It's like a TV show. People are used to waiting a week for content.
Once you've established a type of content on your channel, try not to shift it away from that. So if you have a gaming channel, don't suddenly start making cooking videos because people who are subscribed to you will only like gaming. In our instance, we didn't think it was going to be much of a difference because it's literally just food content in another country and the people who are watching should like traveling around the area, right? We were wrong. If you're going to make a shift, like a huge shift from like gaming to cooking, make a new channel because then the people who are subscribed to that channel will be there for that type of content. Once you get a big channel like us, you'll be doing sponsors and we have some tips for you right now.
The first one, as Megan says, do not do anything for free. Money, money, money. Now, of course, you do have to balance that with exactly how much influence you can bring to the table. However, even if you have something like 50,000 subscribers and you get 5,000 views of video, that's 5,000 people that could potentially buy a product. So you have to know exactly what that sale is worth. If you take away negotiations, set yourself a standard rate. This standard rate can be set based on your subscribers, so you can set a price per subscriber, or you can base it on your average views in the last 20 to 30 videos.
A good way to work out how much your content is worth is to look at Google's AdWords program. Google charges companies a certain amount of money for views. The difference between you and AdWords is because you have brand trust. You have subscribers who will watch content for you. They will listen to your opinion. That's something that AdWords cannot get. Plus, all those adverts that are purchased through AdWords are the ones that people skip at the front of YouTube videos. So your advert in your video is worth more.
And because they're worth more, you have to ask for more. No company is going to talk to you and give you the price you want. They're going to lowball you. It is your job to highball them, and then you can negotiate to a middle ground. You hear it all the time. You could just start with your cell phone. You could start with anything.
It's true. You could start with your cell phone. However, there's certain people like us, or mainly me, who persuaded him to do it that way.
Yeah, that's true.
Not to start with a cell phone. Go high quality. Do the best that you can do every time. Now, sometimes it may seem not worth it because sometimes the views don't reflect the amount of effort we've put into making videos. But I can tell you for certain, with us, we've gotten jobs because of the production quality that went into our videos.
There are certain genres where if you don't start as top quality as you can, you'll just be eclipsed by your competitors. Tech. You'll be competing against so many YouTube channels that have already over 500,000 subscribers. The beauty market is saturated, and it's also saturated with very, very high quality productions. Unless you're going in the direction of comedy or something that has nothing to do with just the beauty products, you're going to have to invest in some sort of production quality that makes you stand out. And the last one is food content. There are so many people that know how to shoot food very well now that if you just walk in with a cell phone, with no depth of field, with no beautifully shot food, you're not going to be able to compete unless, of course, you're doing mukbangs, in which case people really aren't watching the food itself, they're watching you and you eat the food. Because we're focused on food, here's a few examples of people that grew insane amounts because they started with very high quality. Binging with Babish, who grew into the multi-millions within 2 years. And also Not Another Cooking Show, which grew into the hundreds of thousands within 6 months.
You've heard it before and we'll say it again, you can't just survive off AdSense or the ad revenue that you get from YouTube. Here are some alternative ways you can make money. Sponsorships, high-paying, one-off payments for videos, shout-outs, brand integrations like that. We sold hats that did very, very well, but we went a kind of a more difficult route because we made them ourselves and then sold them and did all the shipping and everything by ourselves. There are some companies that do merchandise for you and do all the fulfillment, but you'll make less money per sale. So just remember that.
Also, donations. Donations from live streaming and Patreon. And also licensing your content. But the only way to do that is if you have high quality content.
Most of those ways will revolve around having a large enough channel to be supported by that. You need a lot of subscribers to buy your merch, and you need a lot of subscribers for companies to want to sponsor you. So how do you grow your channel? Besides relying on the things that we've already mentioned, like trying to find like viral videos or like trying to hone your content in, one of the best ways is to collaborate with other channels. Collaborate with people with more subscribers than you. However, don't go and approach someone with 1 million subscribers when you have like 10. They're not gonna wanna work with you. You have to work with scale.
So when you consider what is comparable or was within your range, think 5x as your kind of top. So if you're at 1,000, 5,000 makes sense. If you're at 1,000, 10,000, kind of stretching it. If you're at 10,000, 100,000, kind of stretching it. But 10,000, 50,000 makes sense. It's not about, them being too good for you or anything like that. It's more about showing them respect. Putting in the work to show them that you've done the work, you've been through the grind, and now you think you can actually offer them something by collaborating. You can add something to their content.
And try and collaborate with people with similar genres to you and similar demographics. We're YouTubers in Korea, right? Dave's also a YouTuber in Korea. The difference here is Dave caters to a Korean audience and we cater to people outside of Korea. We can't really collaborate with Dave. It won't help his channel out and it won't help our channel out. Try and work with people where it's a mutually beneficial collaboration.
Thank you very much for watching. I hope we taught you things based on our experience that only we could have taught you.
Leave your comments down below and tell us what else you want to learn.
And I hope we've inspired you to be a K influencer.
And as always,
Stay fancy.